In this video, I'm going to be exploring why sports gambling should be legalized in Massachusetts. Currently, sports gambling is illegal in Massachusetts. This comes despite the fact that the federal government struck its national ban down in 2018. Since then, over half the states have enacted some sort of law that incorporates sports betting. There is massive economic potential for the legalization of sports betting. Since 2018, the states that have legalized sports betting have raked in over $700 million from their share. That figure includes some states that border Massachusetts, such as Rhode Island and New Hampshire. Both of these states have cleared over $20 million from sports betting. This money goes towards the state's budgets. New Hampshire has even created a public education fund that is entirely funded by the state's sports gambling share on winnings. There have been multiple efforts to get a bill passed that would legalize sports betting. Twice the Massachusetts House of Representatives has drafted a bill, but both times the Massachusetts Senate has turned it away. Part of these decisions come down to the Senate's perception of sports betting as something that has criminal ties. While the state Senate is trying to protect its constituents, the effort is futile because, like it or not, sports betting is already in Massachusetts. This fact has already been acknowledged by Governor Charlie Baker, who tweeted out that, quote, Massachusetts is losing out to many of our neighbors on sports betting. The stained history of sports betting in Massachusetts certainly plays a role in the Senate's hesitancy. In the late 1970s, the Boston College men's basketball team got caught purposefully giving up points in order to fulfill the bets that mob members placed. This was a major sports scandal and would even feature in Martin Scorsese's mob classic Goodfellas. By enabling sports betting, opponents of the bill are worried that they may open themselves up to future possible scandals. This concern is why many of the biggest adversaries of the bill are colleges and universities in Massachusetts. But in reality, by legalizing sports betting, Massachusetts would actually be protecting their citizens from the potential downsides of gambling. Sports betting is not as shady as some senators would make it seem. In actuality, sports betting would be done by multiple organizations and would take place in either big casinos or on websites like DraftKings or FanDuel. These organizations are legitimate and have to report all their finances to the government. By legalizing sports betting, Massachusetts would bring betting to the forefront and protect against the shady aspects that often come along with it. Even though Massachusetts considers sports gambling illegal, there are still many ways to circumvent the rules. If someone really wanted to place a bet down, there are multiple ways to do it. Unfortunately, these would be inconvenient, such as traveling to states that allow for sports betting, or even illegal, such as placing bets through offshore websites. Offshore websites are prevalent in the United States and are a much less reliable and much more dangerous source of betting than if it were just to be legalized. In these cases, Massachusetts also does not receive any percentage of the winnings from either the bettor or the book. As we move forward, it will be interesting to see how Massachusetts will act. The inclusion of sports betting legislation seems inevitable across the country, but so far there has been no budging from the state Senate. I believe that eventually money will win out, as it often does, and at some point Massachusetts will enact some sort of sports betting legislation.